Hi. During the past couple of months, I have often talked about monetary issues on this blog, and in particular about the negative effects of interventions by central banks. The recent movements of the American dollar on world markets provide a good example of these perverse effects. We can see that it is losing its value against other currencies, including the Canadian dollar. The US dollar has been the international reserve currency since the Second World War. This means it is the currency used in most commercial and financial transactions between people from different countries. For example, when a company from Brazil sells something in India, it's easier for the two parties involved to do business in dollars instead of using their own national currencies. Everyone will accept dollars because they can easily be used against for other transactions. Central banks, financial institutions, and corporations in all countries hold very large reserves of dollar or securities denominated in dollars, such as treasury bonds from the US government. If using the dollar is so convenient, and if everybody uses it, why is its value going down? The value of a good that is very much in demand normally goes up, not down. Just like any other good, the value of the dollar is determined by supply and demand, and the supply of dollars is precisely where there has been a major change lately. If a good becomes too abundant, its value goes down. That's what is happening with the dollar. Since the beginning of the financial crisis 2 years ago, the American Federal Reserve has continually increased the money supply. It has bought mortgage securities and provided funds to banks in trouble. In order to do this, it has created hundreds of billions of dollars out of thin air. The Fed is also helping to finance the enormous budget deficit of the US government through the purchase of treasury bonds. Last week, we learned that this year, the deficit of the Obama administration will reach $1,400 billion. This is more or less the size of the Canadian economy, and it is anticipated that deficit of that size will continue for some years to come. There are only three ways to finance a deficit: by imposing taxes on citizens, by borrowing the money, or by creating new money. The American government is now in the process of doing all three. It is inevitable that Americans will see their standard of living seriously affected by this in the coming years. If you keep US dollars while its value is going down, you lose money. This is why investors everywhere who hold dollars and who fear that it will be further devalued because of the policy of the American government are now trying to get rid of them. They buy other, more stable currencies, such as the Canadian dollar or gold and other commodities. In short, as more dollars are being created by the Fed, people have less confidence in the preservation of its value, and the demand for dollars goes down, which causes its value to fall even further. This is the movement that threatens its status as the world's reserve currency. What does it mean for us? Our fiscal and monetary policies are a lot more prudent than the policies of the US. So we can expect that the Canadian dollar will continue to rise against the US dollar. Even if this means difficult adjustments for some groups, such as exporting businesses. There are also several positive effects, such as lower prices for everything we import. We can't avoid these changes. We have to adapt to them, unless we choose to debase our own dollar as fast as the Americans are doing, which would have the same adverse long-term consequences for our standard of living. Of course, the best thing would be to have a system where we don't experience these monetary fluctuations. That's precisely why we need a currency that is not constantly being manipulated by central banks, as is the case today. This is a long-term reform that I shall discuss with you some other day. Thank you for listening, and see you soon.